Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Team Coco podcast. How's everyone doing? My name is Aaron.
My name's RJ. Today we have an actor, a comedian, one of my all-time favorites, Norm Macdonald.
Welcome.
How's it
RJ,
going?
that was nice of you to say.
Oh,
It's
well,
going
yeah.
great,
Nice
man.
of you to come.
Yeah, nice of you to come.
How you fellas doing?
We're all right. Great job on the show.
Yeah,
Great
it was
job
awesome.
on
I
the show.
loved
It's
it. I
hilarious.
always loved to go on Conan.
It was awesome, and you know, there's this big thing where, and you talked about it on Conan, where there's a campaign for you to be the host of the Late Late Show.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I would love that. That
That'd
would
be
be
the best.
incredible.
Love that too,
It would be
yes.
amazing. And what now? And you did a little bit on the show tonight for it, but what do you think you would be like as the host of the Late Late Show?
I would like to. I don't know what it would be, but
Right.
I remember when I was in high school, late night with David Letterman showed up.
Oh yeah! Oh my
Yeah.
God!
I'm
Amazing.
sure you guys remember too.
Life changing.
And it was it really was life
Absolutely,
changing. And now I see kind of a bunch of identical shows, and I think, wow, this is the perfect time to do like anarchy.
Yeah, get in there,
just
shake
do something
things up.
weird.
Yeah, punk.
That'd be awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's no one better. No one better than Norm Macdonald.
How would
So
you
I
be
like
different?
punk. I like outlaw country.
Yeah.
So that's my background, and I like.
Yeah.
I don't like structure.
Yeah,
you
awesome,
know?
man.
I can get in this business of wearing a f***ing tie.
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
Pointy shoes.
Exactly. And who would be your who would you say like is an idol besides? I mean, it doesn't even have to be a human being, but who's on TV or has been on television who you would kind of idolize?
For you mean a talk show host?
A talk show host.
Well, I loved David Letterman was the guy I loved
Sure.
the most of all time. But before that, when I was a little boy, I would watch The Tomorrow Show, and it was amazing. Like, it was,
Is that Tom Snyder? No, who's that?
Tom Snyder,
Yeah.
I
So
never
you're
saw
younger
that.
than me, so
Yeah.
he had a show, The Late Late Show. He was the first one to follow Letterman.
Yeah.
But
Right.
he was a broadcaster. But it was cool because people didn't stay up that late, you know. So it was at 12:30, and he would smoke a cigarette in the dark.
Yeah.
And there'd be cigarette smoke all, and it would be super close-ups in the dark black. And he would interview his guests, and it was you got the feeling that only you were watching.
Right.
You know that feeling? That
Yeah,
you get?
yeah.
Absolutely.
And you got a Letterman too. Like, am I the only? You know, is this for me? And the cool guys, you know.
Absolutely. I remember as a kid watching Tom Snyder, and just his laugh was just like, ha ha ha, these huge teeth. Like, I was like, coming out at me. I would sit really close to the TV, just these giant teeth.
Right. What we are losing is broadcasters, because Snyder passed on, I don't know, 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Regis got pushed out for a football player. It was ridiculous.
Oh, that's right.
Ridiculous.
I mean, you talk about ageism or something. Here's Regis, the funniest guy around.
I know.
And Larry King, a fantastic interviewer.
Yeah.
But those guys are a dying breed because, you know, they came up in radio and they know every city and all this. You know, they're just a different type of
Absolutely,
people. Yeah,
A different animal. They're not like a comedy writer or something. They were like when it meant something to be a broadcaster.
it meant something.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
It's funny when you look back at the old days. They were professionals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I look at an old YouTube clip of Bob Hope talking to Jack Benny. Saw one last night, which was my favorite. I watched. You know, I have a thing where it's my favorite stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So,
like bookmarks or whatever.
yeah. So Jack Benny brings out Bob Hope, and he says, "Bob, you are America's favorite comedian." And then Bob Hope goes, "Oh no, Jack, you are America's favorite comedian." And then Jack Benny goes, "I stand corrected."
That's awesome.
But these guys, you know, they wore suits and they were in
present
control.
themselves.
They were men,
Yeah.
and they were 30.
Yeah.
And then we're all bums, you know.
That is
and,
interesting. That back in the day, everyone seemed like super powerful
Oh,
on TV,
yes,
and now
absolutely.
it's just a bunch of bums. Like
Yeah, it is.
Bunch of bums.
And you know, like I think the podcast thing is fantastic because I always wanted to be a sportscaster. So when I was young, I just do it in my basement, like Rupert Pupkin, you know.
Yeah.
But I thought
Less kidnapping, maybe.
Yeah. But boy, I thought if I had a podcast, what I think is great about podcasts is, for guys that want to be broadcasters, is you have no audience but you do have an audience.
Absolutely.
So it's not like talking into a ham radio, that no one will hear, but very few people hear, but still people hear.
Yeah.
And you can get that Malcolm Gladwell 100,000 hours thing,
Absolutely, yeah.
and
Become an expert.
Get real good at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful time for anybody. For anybody to do that, you know.
And it doesn't take a lot of money either, and that's the other thing.
Nothing, it's free.
It's free, yeah. So you really only need to buy this is probably, I don't know, $10 million worth of equipment here, I think, for Radio Shack. At least. But yeah, and then you can get on the air and practice broadcast.
I love the democracy of YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just fantastic. Like, I wonder how SNL can compete, because when you think about SNL has 20 writers. And Funny or Die has 300 million.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean.
Anyone who wants to put it on.
Yeah, so if one guy has one, he can just have one funny idea.
Yeah, exactly.
For his whole life.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how on earth they, because anybody shows me a clip, it ain't from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True, absolutely.
It's from a guy in Albuquerque and his buddy.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And then and literally like 50 million people can see it.
Yeah.
It's just
And
mind-boggling.
I love it.
I know.
And I love also that I don't know who they are. So So if that's why I like in movies when you don't know who the is.
Yeah. There's no like preconceived thing like,
man.
that's Tom Hanks being Tom Hanks. It's just a guy being awesome.
Exactly.
You have no idea what
And
he's
I don't
like.
know if you guys have noticed this, but I feel there's like 8 actors and they're all in each other's movies.
I totally agree. It's just like now it's Tom Cruise in a giant robot suit. Now it's Tom Cruise with a jetpack in the future. Now it's Tom Cruise. It's just like it's the same
And I'm
thing.
like, God damn, I'm trying to suspend my disbelief over here.
It's like everybody's in each other.
I love when they do like cameos. And you're like, I don't think you're big enough for a cameo.
Yeah.
I don't want to name anybody.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't mean to go off on Tom Cruise, but how old is that guy?
I had no idea.
He doesn't age, but he's with Emily Blunt in that new movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
Isn't he like
Well,
60?
some guys though, I remember Paul Newman.
Yeah.
And he kept going at age, but it was believable. Like he'd be with a girl like 30 years his junior, but you'd believe it,
Sure, yeah.
So, and there was you remember About Schmidt?
Oh yeah. Nicholson, yeah.
So Nicholson is in the bed at the beginning of the movie, and he wakes up and he turns, and it's the woman from Nebraska. It's the old lady.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody laughs, right?
Yeah.
But they're the same age. So in real life, that's who Jack Nicholson would be with.
That's right.
Exactly.
So,
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
And the movie's never.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. That is hysterical.
yeah. I felt sorry for the lady at the when she was at the premiere. Huge laugh.
Yeah, huge laugh.
Just a single
the
tear.
Same age.
on her face. That's hilarious.
Exactly.
Wait, speaking of actors, should we do the actor studio
Oh, yeah.
questions?
All right. So speaking of Dirty Work, amazing movie, unbelievable.
nice. Thank you.
It's great. Who are those? Who are those whores / who are those women? One of my favorite lines ever. So we thought, we would love to see one inside the actor's studio. It'd be amazing. I don't know if it's going to happen. We're all pulling for it to happen. But Lipton gives. You've seen inside the actor's
Yes,
studio,
of course.
Yeah. So he's got the quiz at the end.
Yeah,
Is that
by Zsa Zsa Boo.
That's right. Do you mind if we give you the quiz here? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, you're ready. RJ, you want to go
All right,
first?
sure. What is your favorite word? Norm Macdonald.
Now, and answer honestly. It doesn't have to be funny. This is as if you're on Inside the Actor's Studio.
Goodwill.
Ooh, goodwill. All right.
Okay.
Compound word. All right. What is your least favorite word?
African American.
Really? All right. Perfect.
All right.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
These are the questions.
These
Yeah,
are the
these
fucking
are
questions.
the
I
actual
don't
ones.
remember them.
Yeah.
Say that one again.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Creatively, I read every single day when I wake up.
When you wake
I
up.
read.
Whoa.
I read 2 hours of Leo Tolstoy. So that's creatively.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that's creatively.
All
You
right.
should do it. Yeah, I mean, you should do it.
It's hard to read when you wake up. My eyes are like all. I can barely see.
Well, yeah. I see. I can't do it at night because I just fall asleep.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, there you go.
yeah.
Exactly. That's when I read at night and I can never remember any of the books. that I ever read. So I read the same page 50.
And then, after I do that, I listen to Billy Joe Shaver, who I consider the best writer of music.
Whoa.
Okay.
And I meant to tell Conan he should have him as a guest because he's a fascinating guy.
We'll pass him it along. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Billy Joe Shaver.
Yeah, he's considered the greatest songwriter. Bob Dylan considers him the greatest songwriter.
Awesome.
But he wrote Honky Tonk Heroes, he wrote everything, Waylon Jennings, but he's the real outlaw.
I just bought a 4-CD set of Waylon Jennings.
Oh,
at
really?
Amoeba. Yeah, it's
Okay.
awesome.
Oh, he's
I
amazing.
never really listened to him. He's
Oh,
unbelievably
that
great.
voice is
Holy it's
has an awesome
insane.
voice.
Good.
It's insane.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
So check out Billy
Billy
Joe
Joe
Shaver, because his stories are unbelievable. Because he was the true outlaw,
Yeah.
and he's 75. Just last year, he shot a man in the face.
What?
Is that true?
That's not true.
What? 2 years ago. I mean, he went to.
Yeah, look, you're like, oh, it wasn't last
Yeah, it
year.
wasn't
too.
last
He
year.
did shoot him
Even
in the
3 years
face, but
ago.
it wasn't.
Yeah, but he was old, you know.
Oh my
because
God.
it was in a bar fight, and that was it. But
That's
he got off. He didn't kill the guy, and when he got off, he said, "That guy owes me a bullet."
That's true.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, the guy's the best.
Holy
I've been
crap.
telling everybody that you got to get this guy because his songs are insanely good,
That's awesome.
and he's a great singer, and his stories are unbelievable.
Holy crap. Oh, my
Yeah.
God. Unbelievable.
So, anyways, there was spirit. That was
creatively,
what's
spiritually. Now,
next?
emotionally. What turns
Emotionally.
you on emotionally?
Wait a minute, we didn't talk about spiritually.
Oh, spiritually. That's
So spiritually, I'm kind of behind.
all right.
But I have a book by Leo Tolstoy
Right.
that is only the words of Jesus, because he did
Whoa.
not believe in the Bible, but he believed in the words of Jesus, that Jesus was the greatest. He believed,
Right.
and Leo Tolstoy is no slouch.
No slouch, that guy.
Yeah.
Saying it
Knows
for
a
years.
thing or
He
two.
believed that Jesus was the best writer.
Interesting.
Or not the best writer, but I guess the best thinker.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that all pacifism came from Jesus.
Right. And it's not the stuff around, all the stuff around Jesus.
It's not all the religion.
all the
yeah.
religion stuff.
Right.
It's just the
No,
words.
yeah, he's very against religion.
Interesting.
But when you read it, I had a hard time finding it. But when you read it, you're like, yeah, who needs all that other stuff?
Yeah.
Like everything this guy says is amazing.
It's more of Jesus
Absolutely.
as like a philosopher or
A
something.
super philosopher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like,
crazy.
Like, and way ahead of everybody. Like, you know, he did everything for women. Like, he was super feminist, you know.
Super progressive.
Super progressive. Children, apparently children were never mentioned ever by
Really?
anybody because they were just like kids. So looking.
Build us a pyramid.
Yeah. So and then Jesus was like, no, the children, you know.
Yeah.
And then he had these thoughts that nobody had ever had, like, you know, love thine enemy. That seemed insane to people.
Right.
Yeah.
Turn on the other. Still.
It still seems
still
insane to
insane.
most
Seems,
people.
seems undoable.
Yeah,
Turn
unfortunately.
the other cheek.
Yeah.
Give a guy a cloak. So, anyways, I have that book. So that's kind of
Tolstoy.
what I do spiritually. I'm not a Christian,
Right.
but
That's
I'm
awesome.
not a religious person. But I'm not. I believe there's a God, but I'm not a religious person.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Awesome.
what was the third?
And then
one?
emotionally, what would you say it turns you on emotionally, lifts your spirits?
Golf does.
Yeah.
You
awesome.
tweet a lot about
Yes,
golf.
Love it.
Yes, golf fits
love
my
it.
because golf to me is like man against man, man against nature,
Yes.
and then man against himself. So to me, when I watch golf, I see life, but with a score.
That's awesome.
That-
That's awesome. Though.
And I think that's why I like sports, because it has
Yeah.
a score.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
everything in life
You
is
can
so
measure.
like, you know, I didn't like it, I did. I didn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it.
It's so wishy-washy.
Yeah, everything's subjective. And
Yeah.
then with sports, it's like, well, this ain't
Yeah.
subjective.
Well, that's why tying sucks
78,
too.
72.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's your guy? You like Spieth?
Oh, well, I love Spieth.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm torn because I'm so. But I would like to have seen him. I think break the records. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love Tiger, and when I think of how much I put into Tiger,
Ugh.
and to now see, I think what they did to him was awful.
Yeah.
You know, the sex thing,
Yeah.
just awful.
Yeah.
Like, I love how nobody cheats. Like, what a
I know.
fucking everyone in the world does. Like, why do we have to make up this crazy shit?
He's just a golfer. It's like, who
And
cares?
he's a golfer. he's the hero. Like,
Yeah.
Like what retard would go? Okay, this is the guy.
Yeah.
He's the best rebounder there is. Do what he does.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like my friends, Lori, who's my good friend. Her best friend is, or not her best friend, but her friend is Elon Musk, who I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know.
SpaceX.
And I go, this guy should be the most famous guy in the world by far.
Yes.
This guy is the coolest motherfucker. ever.
Yes.
You know, he just risks everything constantly, and he has so much hope, and he's not a cynic like everybody else.
Yeah.
He wants to colonize Mars, and oh my God, like
he's a leader in two insane fields:
Yes.
space flight and automotive.
I know.
It's
It's
And
crazy.
he's making a hydro loop to San Francisco.
Yes.
It's just like, my
And he
God.
throws all his money. So, you know, he makes, I think he started with PayPal.
Yeah.
So he makes all his money, boom, throws it all in. So as soon as he fails, everything disintegrates.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
But he doesn't care. He just tells me, he goes, I want to be alive to see a man on Mars. I probably won't be, but it's amazing in this world of everything.
And it's also
Yeah.
it's beautiful that those people still exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can rise from whatever muck we're all in.
Right.
They can still be
Well,
like, no, we're gonna go do this.
Yeah,
Like,
They can have
instead of
imagination.
Instead of going like,
Yeah.
hey, the fucking global warming, everything's going to go to shit. Like,
It's like, let's build a rocket and go to
yeah,
Mars.
He has
go.
an answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane.
That's
He has
awesome.
an answer instead of the answer being the other guys are wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
This is
awesome.
getting so
It
serious,
is.
right?
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
good, though.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. All right.
What
What-
was the third one?
Emotionally.
Emotionally.
said
No,
that
That's
one.
what you said. You said emotionally.
Golf.
Yeah, golf.
Oh, yes, golf.
Yeah.
yes.
What turns you off
Turns you off.
in general?
What turns me off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smugness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I always ask people, I go, what do you know for sure?
Right.
And it silences them. Unless the guy like Ricky Gervais or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to Ricky. I go, what do you know for sure? He goes, well, I know there's no God. I said, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you know for sure? Because, of course, the answer is nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
But people don't like to say that.
Right.
So smugness.
Yeah, I like it.
And especially when it comes to that topic, because it's like, yeah, you're the only guy to like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Remember
You're
the-
all alone.
Remember
in your,
if in the Enlightenment,
Yeah.
you've suddenly come to this?
yeah. Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you.
yeah.
I like this one.
Yeah.
That
All
one.
right. Favorite curse
I've
word.
never heard these questions though from him. I guess I don't.
That's I got this off the internet, so it
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
fake.
yeah.
Could be fake.
We'll skip a bunch.
No, don't skip.
What's your favorite
Because you
curse
can
word?
edit it or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
later,
Well.
right?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
What favorite curse word?
Mother,
Mother.
Yeah.
because there's a lot going on in that word.
There's a lot going on. I haven't
What's
heard
yours?
sucker in a long time.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
like that
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
It's got a lot of
yeah,
oomph to it.
Trying to bring that one
Trying
back.
to bring that one back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's confusing now.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what exactly.
Right.
But yeah.
But motherfucker is like, I don't. The first guy that thought of that. But I guess scientists, not scientists. I'm such an idiot.
Curse word
But
scientist.
psychiatrists say you want to your mother, and you know.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know when you hear these things, you go,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Why is
unpleasant.
it that grosses me out? If that's true,
Yeah.
why is it that me and all my friends are completely grossed out if we want to our mothers? Plus, why are we not our mothers? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Oh my God.
Next one.
All right. What sound or noise do you love?
I love the ocean the best.
Oh yeah.
That's
That's
a
a
good
great
one.
one.
Yeah, I love the ocean because it's so steady and calm and indifferent to our problems and everything. you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, I also love the ocean because man has not controlled the ocean. You know,
That's
and
true.
we always think of the world, and we're like, hey, we're the world. We've conquered the world. Well, the world's 75% ocean and fish. You know, that's
we haven't
the
conquered
world.
anything. Yeah.
That's
It's
the
like,
world.
There's so much stuff
Yeah.
that we don't know about.
Yeah.
most of the world is not us, and it's hard for us to
Yeah.
It's hard for us to believe that,
comprehend
right?
it. Yeah.
Isn't it? There's
Yeah.
like I heard the other day. There's only like a couple places where if you went like if we were in Los Angeles, the opposite side of that would be land.
Oh yeah.
There's only a couple
Wow,
places
that's
in the world.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's how much water there is.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. Next question.
Sound you don't
You guys
like.
are fun.
We know a lot of useless facts.
We'll say very little.
We'll say that.
What's the sound you hate?
The sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess, truly, really, truly, the sound of the horn at the end of the hockey game that I've lost,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it just hits me.
Not when you've won, though. Just when you've
No,
lost.
just when
Only-
I've
Yeah.
lost. Yeah, it just kind
Because
of
it's
hits me.
harsh as hell.
It's a hell of a bad horn. Yeah,
right to the
it's-
soul.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it does that on purpose or not. But yeah.
It's a spear in the heart.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the worst. Oh, my God. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Well, I'm writing a book now. And
Oh, awesome.
Yes, it's taken me. I said I'd do it in a year,
Uh-huh.
and it's been 3 years.
Okay.
And it's very, very, very hard. And I stopped doing stand-up to try to do it properly.
Whoa.
And the book, what I'm going to be paid for the book, I could make in 2 stand-up gigs. So. but when I did it, I read all the autobiographies. It's a memoir.
Oh, awesome.
And they were all awful, like the worst things you could ever read.
Okay.
Except there was 2. There was Benjamin Franklin, who wrote it to his son, which was
that's
beautiful.
awesome.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
And, he knows everything. The guy did everything.
Absolutely.
And there was the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Oh, that's
But
amazing.
the rest of them were like when you begin to when you write a memoir, like they want 300 pages, you realize your life, maybe 6 pages.
Double spaced.
Not a lot happens when you take a good close look at your life. A lot of it's eating raisin bran. and
So much.
a lot of it is eating food.
So much eating.
Yeah, waiting to eat and eating.
You should put that in. Put it in your memoir. Just put it in them. Just maybe pad it out a bit with just eating food.
Yes.
I know.
The memoir will be the greatest celebrity memoir ever by far.
I can't wait. That sounds
Yeah.
You have a
awesome.
title? Or can you say?
Based on a true story.
Based on a true story. Awesome. Oh my God. Well, do you have any idea when it's gonna? I mean, you're writing it now, so in a couple of years.
I think about 2 months I'll send in the final one.
Oh wow!
cool.
Oh, so you're just wrapping it up. Oh my God! Well, congrats. That's a
Yeah.
You guys
Congratulations.
I mean,
We try to.
yeah. I mean, I've never written a book.
Yeah, no,
I've written
to
comedy
put the
stuff.
Big picture. I didn't know how hard it would be.
It's
'Cause
long.
I'm like, wait, what did this happen? How? It's so much.
yeah. It's like a
You had
marathon
to
for your
watch,
mind.
like,
Yeah.
Wait.
Especially when you're used to writing like jokes and
Yeah, that's
scenes
what
and
I was
stuff. To
used
think
to.
about like 200, 300 pages or whatever, it seems insane. It's
mind-blowing.
It really is so hard.
It's mind blowing.
So, but the luck, and also first person is the hardest to write.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what you have to do for a memoir. So,
Did you write it to anyone like Franklin did or no?
no.
Anyone in mind?
No.
Just to myself. All right. What profession
You
would
guys are awesome.
Thank you.
thanks
We're
for
almost
being
done.
here.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This
This
is
is
I
so
didn't realize
fun.
there's 50 questions here.
Oh, no, don't cut any out.
Day 3 of the Norm Macdonald interview.
Don't cut any out because maybe we'll find, a good one. Don't cut it.
No, okay. No problem. All right. Here we go. Next one. What profession would you not like to do?
What did I say? What did I say I'd like to do? I guess write.
Write a book.
Yeah.
yeah.
Write a book.
What would I not like? Professionally?
Also write a book.
Edit
Well, I
a
did
book.
manual labor before I did stand-up comedy.
Oh, interesting.
What kind?
What
I
kind?
did too.
Well, the worst was logging, but mostly it
Whoa.
was all unskilled. I had no skill. I couldn't do skilled labor.
Yeah.
So furniture moving.
Yeah.
We would go outside and stand on the corner in the freezing Calgary winter.
Oh, my
and trucks would come up. And everybody would run up to the trucks. It's like the Depression.
Yeah.
Or something. You go, can I?
I
get-"
imagine it raining.
Yeah.
yeah.
They just pick a guy and you'd get in.
Oh my
and
God.
then you do all the work, and for like $2.50 an hour.
Ah,
The
geez.
driver is getting like $18, But anyways,
How was logging? That
but
seems.
I loved
Yeah.
I did love manual labor because unskilled manual labor.
Yeah.
Because what happened was, I would work. And I didn't have to think because it was unskilled.
Sure.
So my mind would just fantasize all the time.
Oh,
And I
cool.
think mostly I think of funny stuff. I tried to think of funny, not with any desire to get into comedy,
Right.
but just to kind of entertain myself.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I really like the unskilled labor where you can just dig in a ditch and your just mind floats away.
Yeah.
So So the one I would hate more than anything would definitely be a businessman.
A businessman.
Like, I think the worst possible thing I can think of is being called into the carpet. Like, they always talk about heroes. Like, the mother's the hero, and they go, what about the guy who works a job and his boss calls him in and goes, Henderson, you f***ing you know what I mean? Like, you better you're going to get fired.
Yeah.
And then, Henderson wants to go, you, but he's got, 3 kids and
right,
a wife.
He can't.
Yeah.
So that's a hero to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would be, I worked one time as the lowest position in an insurance company.
Oh, God.
And I saw, it just looked so absurd to me. Like, the whole idea was to get to the office at the end of the place.
Right.
Which was just as shit. I mean,
Right.
it's a better office, but you're still in this insurance company.
Yeah.
And
after like years of hard work, then you finally get that office.
You finally get 20 yards down.
Yeah,
with
Jesus.
a window.
Yeah, and then
whatever.
you get to be mean to people.
Ugh,
Yeah.
it's a mess.
There's
So
a lot
business-
of ties and
Ties.
So many ties.
sounds
I always thought
awful.
of ties as just a symbolic.
Yeah,
we're
like
going to slowly
hanging
strangle
ourselves.
you.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And uncomfortable shoes. You have to be uncomfortable.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say businessmen. Maybe they're needed. I don't know. I'm sure
There's a lot of them.
But
There are a lot.
yeah, but
More
boy.
than we don't need that many.
yeah, probably not, right?
Oh my God.
Like I remember Carlin said, we don't need any more love songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what
We've
about
got
songs about cancer?
Exactly.
But I would. I'm sure they do good work, but that would kill my soul.
A hellish nightmare.
That would be awful.
I think I'd rather.
All right, last question.
one. Oh, this is a very Lipton question.
Yeah, this is a very James Lipton.
If
question.
heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh,
That's a
I
Crazy
exist.
I exist. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you would know something for sure.
and then I would say, "Are you sure?" And he would go, "Yes, I exist." And I go, "Wait a minute, you're not the devil, are you?" Because I saw a Twilight Zone once.
Oh my God.
perfect.
God,
Awesome.
I would be speechless. Wouldn't that be the most wonderful thing ever?
That'd be insane.
One time, I think I did this in my act, but it was actually a true thought. I was like, what if there is a God, but he's like the wrong guy? So you're like, holy it's Islam. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah. You
Not
got it
the
wrong.
one you
my
think.
You go
God.
up there. Yeah.
But my real belief is that all religions are wrong.
Right.
But I still believe in God. I was trying to explain to Ricky Gervais, because I said, because this is my idea, seriously about it, right?
Mhm.
Because I have no religious affiliation or anything like that.
Wait, you said you think they're all wrong, but you think
I
there is a
think
God.
I think they're all wrong.
Yeah.
And when they say like, well, how could the virgin birth be right? Because that's the same as in 15 other different religions.
Yeah.
Well, I go like, well, then maybe,
Maybe that's the one right thing.
maybe they all have a version. Why would that be? But I don't think man could ever comprehend, or should dare to comprehend it. But like when I hear like, I don't believe in God because, do you believe? They also try to condescend to you and say invisible man in the sky and stuff like that. But and they go up with all these, hey, all this stuff that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Priests, children. I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
What are you?
what the does that have to do with anything?
What are we talking about?
Yeah. So like they go, I've never seen God, and there's no evidence of God.
Yeah.
And all of that, which is true.
Yeah.
But I say there is no evidence because it must have started. It started either with God or nothingness. That much we know.
Right.
Sure. The universe was created by God or started from nothingness and with entropy became something. So when they say, I've never seen God, and I can't imagine God, I say, I've never seen nothingness.
Yeah.
That's true.
And can't imagine nothingness. And that is really what I believe. And I've never asked a scientist this. I asked Dawkins on Twitter.
Did
He wouldn't
did
understand
respond?
it. But I said, why does life continue to insist upon itself? In other words, why would an ant care to reproduce and have more ants. Maybe there is an answer.
Yeah.
But if you're an atheist and nothing is meaningless, and everything is meaningless. Well, certainly an ant doesn't believe in God.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
But an ant wants there to be more ants in the future.
Yeah.
Like automatically.
Exactly.
And why, if the universe is completely indifferent, why would life be insistent upon staying? You would think it would just go.
Whatever.
It.
Yeah,
I ate, I died, who cares?
Who cares?
That's true. I mean, the insistence on life and the fact that life constantly tries to propagate itself must mean something.
It
must. There must be.
It must.
And not to get too cosmosy on this podcast, but it's like everything's so big. The universe is so big.
It is.
There's so much.
It's big and seemingly perfect and beautiful. And when they go, well, that took 4 billion years, I think that ain't that long.
No. If you think about
you give me 4 billion years, I couldn't fucking do anything.
Exactly.
So I don't
You
think
could write
that's
2 books in 4 billion years.
But I don't think I could do that long.
Yeah.
So I really believe it's a guess.
Yeah.
That and that's why I don't like people that say for sure,
Yeah.
like,
And or even
you're like Bill Maher, you're stupid.
Yeah.
You can either believe in God or you're stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the nature of God. Could be completely indifferent to us, not care at all, not even know we exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to mean that he answers our prayer and loves us and all that. Who could ever know that? But I do believe. I can't help but believe when I look around.
Yeah. There's something.
I can't help it.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't believe that when I look around, it was all an accident.
It's true. And you know what? And I think that the smartest men can admit that they don't know and can admit that there's something they don't understand.
Yeah,
it's like because it takes true intelligence and confidence to say something. I'm not sure, but there's something, And I feel like it's always the people who are those people drive me crazy, like the smug people
The
who are just
who are so sure.
Yes, right. It's like, what are you
Are
so
you guys
sure?
comics?
Yeah.
It's weird that I don't know isn't an acceptable answer.
It is not. I
Yeah,
know.
and that's it's the answer that most people should give to most things.
Yeah.
Right.
and yet
true.
everyone's afraid of those words.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
It's very weird.
Because we know nothing.
We know
nothing.
We know nothing. We know nothing about the big questions.
Yeah.
I don't even know anything about little things.
Yeah, I have no idea how this stuff works. I just know that it works.
So you could take the smartest person in the world, and of all the things known in the world, he would know almost none of it.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then, because my dad always said, nobody's stupid because there's something they know that you don't.
Absolutely. Wow, that's a very poignant thing to
Profound.
say.
Yeah,
Very
I like
profound.
that.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing.
awesome.
Thank you
this
so
has really
much.
been fun. Thanks for having me.
This
That
was
really sweet.
fantastic. Yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone, please follow. Listen, this man has a lot of great things to say. Follow Norm Macdonald on Twitter and hashtag #LateLateNorm and express your awesome desire
That's right.
to see Norm as the host of this show. And you can have this every night. You can have something like this.
Well, thanks, guys.
Awesome.
You
Thanks,
guys have been
Norm.
really good.
This
You're
was
really
great.
good together.
Thank you
Thanks so
very
much.
much.
Done it for a while?
What's that? Yeah,
Almost a year, yeah.
almost a
Are
year.
you buddies from the old days?
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty much.
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
We hang out way too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
So we're making up for lost time.
But I've done it with 2 people. I've been interviewed by 2 people before,
Uh-huh.
and you guys are the best I've ever seen.
Oh my God! Thank you
Yeah,
very
because
much.
You don't interrupt each other, and you it's a conversation.
Well,
That's
thank
very
you.
nice
That's
of you.
awesome.
Thank
It
you.
was a
Thank you so much.
really pleasant, nice conversation.
Well,
Thanks so
thank
much.
you, and thank you all for listening. And we will see you guys next week.
See you guys
Peace,
later.
See you later. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. For all things Conan, go to TeamCOCO.com. And don't forget to watch the TV show on TBS, 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central.